Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel, and if you're new here, hello, welcome, my name is Charlotte. I haven't filmed for a while. This feels really weird. I have to remember like how to get into it. Apologies for any lighting issues. It's just like getting back into filming because I haven't filmed in like over 2 weeks. Today I'm going to be doing my February wrap up. My thumbnail was kind of clickbait because I only have one of these books physically, because all the books I read physically this month, apart from one, which is the one I'm currently reading, I took back home when I went to visit home, so they're all back there, so that's the reason why I don't have any of them. But I have 8 books to talk about with you today. Not all of them I have finished, and also I think, so I've kind of read fully 6 books this month, which is kind of what is my track record so far. Like last month I read 6 books fully, and then this month I have. So it looks like 6 is going to be the number. I'm going to try and not like mess up filming because as I said, I haven't done it for that long or for a while, and I'm going to try and not make this too long because last month January was a long one. If we're talking about my wrap up for the month in the terms of like statistics, I read a total of 2,510 pages. My daily average was 87 pages. I gave 1 book 3 stars, 4 book 4 stars, and 1 book 5 stars. I didn't DNF any books. My male to female author ratio was 1 male author and 7 female authors, which is kind of the trend. It's kind of the majority of my books. I realised I mainly read female authors, which is great. My format ratio was 6 physical books and 2 audiobooks. I just want to say that February felt like a really long month, despite it being the shortest month of the year, and also just even though it is a leap year this year, it is the shortest month of the year, but it just felt really long. It seems ages ago that it was like the beginning of February. It feels like yonks ago that I read some of these books. So I apologise if some of my thoughts aren't very coherent. So let's jump straight in with this wrap up. So the first book that I read this month was How I Live Now by Meg Rossoff. I did talk about this at the end of my January wrap up because I was currently reading it, and I gave this book, or I finally gave this book, a 2.75 out of 5 stars, which it's been so long since I've fully read a book and actually given it like less than 3 stars, because usually if I'm feeling like it's less than 3 stars, or that's kind of the vibe it's giving me, I usually DNF it. But I wanted to push through with this book because it's a short one. It's kind of not even 200 pages, so I pushed through. I think the main things that really kind of annoyed me about this book and made me dislike this book, or I say dislike as if 2.75 isn't like a hate, you know, it's like a hate rating. The writing style was one of the main things because there is no quotation marks throughout, and I know that's probably like a stylistic choice, but it was just annoying because I'd have to sometimes remind myself that someone's speaking. It was just very jarring, I'd say. And also the sentences are really long, and they just felt like they didn't stop, and they just felt like there was no definitiveness about them and like no ending. It was jarring. The whole experience was jarring, and it was also just very tedious. I was just there like, I'm so sick of this writing style, can we just hurry this along, get this done? And throughout the majority of the book, and especially throughout the first half of the book, I found our narrator Daisy to be very annoying. She's an American going into a British setting, and it's kind of felt like she was very stereotypically American, and when she's obviously put into like a British setting, even though we don't get too much characterization of the other characters, which is another thing that really annoyed me, it just felt annoying. Like she was just annoying. I didn't like reading from her, and I was just like, sometimes like, just shut up. Obviously there are reasons why she is how she is, and I think trigger warnings for eating disorders in this book, and maybe like just mental health in general. I just didn't really like her. She was annoying. And the other thing that annoyed me was the romance. I'm not going to spoil it. It's not like, oh, I don't like the romance because I didn't get the chemistry and blah blah blah. I didn't like the romance because it shouldn't be a thing. Not because that's my opinion, but like legally I do like the film better, which is saying something, because it's not like I hate the film, but it's not like an amazing film. I like some of the changes that they've made in the film, and some of the changes in the characters and the characterizations of the characters in the film. This book was okay, it wasn't great. There were some points that I did like it, and that was just because of other characters rather than our main character. So that was my least favourite book of the month. And then next, in comparison, I read my favourite book of the month, and we'll probably go on like my favourite books of the year because it was just obvious it would. This was a new release this month, so you probably already know what I'm going to talk about, and that is Heartstopper Volume 3 by Alice Oseman. Let me just give you a little story because I'm so like, I'm still so privileged about this. I think this was meant to come out, or this came out on the 7th of February, I think. On the 1st of February, I went up to London just to have a chill day with my mum, and I was like, right, we're going to gaze the word. We are going to gaze the word. So I went to gaze the word, and I was gonna buy a book. And I picked up one book that I was gonna buy, which I will talk about in a book haul. But then I saw something, and I was like, well, I've gotta buy it as well. I saw Heartstopper Volume 3 like a week early. I had to get it. My thoughts was, if I get to read this early, I will want to. And the next day I read it, and I read it in one sit, or pretty much one sitting, or kind of in that day. Just felt so lucky that I got to read it early. Obviously there will be some people who got to read it early because they got arcs, but I'm just so happy that I got to read it. 5 out of 5 stars. Honestly, it'd be really hard for me to rank these Heartstopper books in terms of what's my favourite, because they're all just so beautiful. I had the same cuteness, I was also really emotional. Trigger warnings for biphobia, homophobia, self-harm and eating disorders within this book. One thing that made this volume different was I felt like it was more hard-hitting, which is what we love. We're following Nick and Charlie as they are developing and exploring their relationship more and figuring out who to come out to as a couple to people, like who to do it to and when. And obviously Nick isn't even out to anybody, like everyone still thinks he's straight, people don't know that he's bisexual, so they're having to develop and kind of like go through that, and kind of that's kind of the main plot of the book. But also the main kind of like flow of the book is them going to Paris on a school trip, which can I just say gave me all the throwback feels to when I went on like school trips. Honestly, like, because it's set in England and Alice Oseman is British, it was just so correct. It was just so real, and like I was just there like, I remember doing that. I remember being told to just go off and do stuff, and then like actually like causing havoc, like yes, and wanting to sneak into each other's rooms at the end of the day. Like, just reminded me of all the school trips I went to, like France and Germany. It was just brilliant. I kind of wrote, from the hours spent wandering aimlessly around European cities to the sneaking into friends' room at night, I felt like I was 14 again. What I truly loved about this volume was how realistic it was. The conversations just felt so real. You know, sometimes in books and just in stories in general, when you're reading these or you're listening to these conversations, or these conversations are happening and you're going, they wouldn't say that, that wouldn't happen. Like, real is real. The characters say stuff that you can picture, or you can remember your friends saying similar stuff when you're talking about these sort of situations. It's so real, and it's just so cute because I love these characters so much and would die for them. We see the development of other characters and other characters' relationships within this book, and it was just fabulous, and I loved it. If you've read the first two, definitely recommend picking up the third one, and if you haven't read any of them, what are you doing? Pick them up. They are beautiful. Love them so goddamn much. The next book that I read in the month of February was Runa Rising by Leigh Bardugo. This is the third and final book in the Grisha trilogy. I read this with a load of friends on BookTube, and I don't know how to talk about this book without spoiling it, because I did a spoiler thing in my Goodreads review, but I gave this a 3.5 out of 5 stars. This was better than Siege and Storm, and if you remember how much I talked about Siege and Storm, you know that I didn't really like Siege and Storm. Like, I liked it, but like it wasn't the best. But I think maybe, possibly, I'm not sure, this might be my second favourite. It might go Shadow and Bone, Runa Rising, Siege and Storm. I don't want to go too much into depth about this because I could go on for hours. I did do a reading vlog for this book, so I will link that in the description below for you to go check out if you want more like processed thoughts and more like complete thoughts and more bigger thoughts. But I think in general, like if I had to really sum it up like really quickly, like I don't want to talk about it too much because I could go on for ages, is it was a good book. It was slow to start, but it picked up in the second half. But then the secondary characters really were like what carried it and really what made it great. Some characters were more bearable in this book, but I just felt like it was a little bit anticlimactic. I feel like this whole series is really, it's frustrating because I really wanted to love this trilogy, like this whole trilogy, because I love Six of Crows and I love the Six of Crows trilogy, and I'm really excited for the TV show, but I just felt like it was a bit of a letdown. I should have expected it because I did hear mixed thoughts of this whole trilogy before I read it. It is very cliche YA, and I knew that. I just kind of wanted a bit more. I wanted a bit more, you know? I wanted more to happen. I wanted it to be more explosive. But overall, I did enjoy it, and I am so excited. So excited for the show when it comes out. We recently just got a little video of all the cast being like, hi, my name's this and I played this, and are you ready? We just finished filming, like, are you ready for Shadow and Bone? And I'm there like, no, but give it to me now. I am so goddamn hyped for this TV show. Like, I'm freaking out just thinking about, like, I don't know why. I'm so hyped, but I just am. I love the cast so much. Ben Barnes, I love you, sir. We'll do anything for you. The whole cast, I love them, and I'm very excited for it. Unfortunately, this wasn't the kind of ending to the trilogy that I wanted, or like as big of an ending I wanted, but I still enjoyed it and I still like the trilogy. It just has its flaws, but it's got a special place in my heart. That's all that matters. The next book I read was an audiobook, and I feel like I don't have too much to say about this because it was a reread. I think I've realised that these audiobooks for this series aren't my favourite, and I do find myself disconnecting from it a lot. It was hard for me to like properly sum up my thoughts and to probably give it a rating. I've given it a loose rating. City of Lost Souls by Cassandra Clare. This is the I don't know why I went 6th, 5th, 7th, whatever. The 5th book in the Mortal Instruments series, I gave it a 4 out of 5 stars, and I'm thinking maybe a 4.25 or 4.5. I'm not sure, but I think on Goodreads I gave it a 4. Something about these audiobooks I just don't like as much, and it's hard for me to completely be engaged with all the time in comparison to like the Harry Potter audiobooks. I'm always engaged, I'm always listening and already just like there. With these ones it's harder. I don't feel like I have too much to say just because I barely remember much that happened, and I barely remember my experience with this. Once I've re-listened to City of Heavenly Fire, I might go back and re-listen to the whole series just because I want to see if I can, maybe once my life is less hectic with university and I've got more time to be a chilled human being, I can hopefully be in the mindset to properly engage with these books on audiobook, but we'll have to see. But I will read City of Heavenly Fire because I want to make sure I complete the series. It is a big boy, so I don't know how long it will take me. It'll probably take me a while. The next book that I read in the month of February was The Curious Incident of the Dog in the Nighttime by Mark Haddon. I picked this book up in a charity shop because obviously I've heard so many good things about the book and the play, and I've never known the story and I've never known anything about it because I haven't seen the play, haven't read the book. So I was very intrigued and I decided to pick it up because it's a small book. I had high hopes because it's very well loved. I gave it a 4.25 out of 5 stars. I really did enjoy it. This book is, I realised I haven't given any synopsises on any book. I feel like I don't need to give it for Heartstopper or for maybe Runa Rising or for City of Lost Souls, but I didn't for How I Live Now, and I apologise. This book follows our main character Christopher, and he has Asperger's, and one day he sees that one of his neighbour's dogs has been killed in the night time, and he takes it upon himself to investigate the murder of this dog, because it's not just like, oh, the dog died of natural causes, whatever. It had a fork, like a garden fork sticking out of it. It was killed. This book takes turns that I didn't expect it to in the terms of what it entails and how really what this book is about. It was a very interesting read to kind of, because it's written as if Christopher is writing the mystery, and because it's written in first person, he's saying like, I want to write a mystery book, and I'm going to write a mystery book about what happened to the dog. And because it's all written from his perspective and it's technically written by him, you do get to see and kind of read what it's like to live with Asperger's. Really do get to go into the mind of someone with Asperger's and see what their daily life is like. And you do just get chapters where he kind of talks about his Asperger's and what kind of how that affects like normal things and like what he ends up doing day to day and stuff like that. That's a part of the book that I really enjoyed and really found really interesting. As I said, the book kind of takes a turn and kind of goes down a path I didn't expect it to, because it really develops and goes through what Christopher's relationship is like with his parents and his family, and just kind of develops and goes through that, which I found was really interesting. Was surprising, but was interesting, and I enjoyed it. I'm now really intrigued to see the play. When I was reading the book, he's reading these letters from his mum, and when I started reading it, I go, oh god, oh no, oh god. Because when I did drama A-level in our first year, like from the transition between school and college, so when we were entering into doing drama A-level, we were told like, oh, you know, in preparation for your first class, like over summer, like get yourself, like find yourself a monologue that you're going to perform in front of like everybody. And at least 2 people chose one of the letters from The Curious Incident of the Dog in the Nighttime that Chris's mum wrote to him. And I was reading it being like, I can literally picture so many people reading this. I was like having war flashbacks because drama A-level was like fun but stressful. The next book that I read in the month of February was Everything I Never Told You by Celeste Ng. I kind of buddy read this, or was buddy reading this with Shannon over on 155 Books. I'm trying to think if I've ever read like an adult thriller. I feel like I have. Oh yeah, you.
Hello. You? No, fuck, no, I'm not doing that.
This one is kind of the first time I've read a book like this. This book follows a Chinese-American family. The mom is American and the dad is Chinese, and it follows them in the 1970s with their kids. Their favourite child, as it's kind of said throughout the whole book, their favourite child, the eldest child, Lydia, turns up dead. It's all discovering stuff about the family. You get to learn a lot about the relationship between the mum and the dad and how they kind of got together, and you kind of just follow all these characters and kind of developing their life and diving into their life and exploring their life, eventually leading up to what happened to Lydia. I gave this book a 3.75 out of 5 stars. I was hoping to give it more. I think it was because I don't read a lot of adult fiction. I found this book not slow, but at first I found it a bit of like this is a trudge to get through because it's adult fiction, and it was depressing. There was no moments throughout it where I was like, oh, that's cute, that's a happy moment. It was depressing. Even when the mom and dad are like getting together and they're all cute and stuff, there's still stuff that just feels unnerving and just down and not like 100% happy. So I think that's probably what hindered my experience with this book, was because I was like, this is really depressing. I just feel like nothing good is happening. Obviously a book can be like that, but when it's something like you're developing and diving into the relationships and the history of this family, you would hope at some point there'd be some happiness. One part of this book that I did really enjoy was how it discussed being Chinese and being in general Asian within America in the 1970s. Obviously for the dad, he went to college or university or whatever in like the 1950s or something, and obviously he's Chinese, and for him that was really hard because everyone around him, like no one else around him was Chinese or Asian. His first girlfriend and his first kind of love was his wife, who's Lydia's mum, the kid's mum. It's just that thing of he was the odd one out because he was Chinese. It still develops and delves into that idea when the kids, you know, the kids are at school because they are half Chinese, half American, and still that is very rare. I just realised that my camera just stopped recording and I just basically filmed the rest of the video. I cannot remember what I was just last talking about because it was literally like nearly 5 to 10 minutes ago, so I apologise. It's the reason why I didn't thoroughly enjoy this book, because I just felt it was a bit depressing, but it was still good. I did enjoy it. And the next two books are the books that I am currently reading and hopefully will be finishing soon. The first book is Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix. I'm listening to this on audiobook and I love it so much. It's so good. I feel like I'm enjoying this more than I thought I would, and I don't know why. I'm definitely enjoying it more than Goblet of Fire. Something about it, I'm just loving it so much. Like I'm just finding myself just being so happy and just so engaged and just loving it so much. Obviously Umbridge is a bitch and I hate her.
I'm sure we're all going to be very good friends.
That's likely.
And she's just frustrating. Like that's the main feeling that I get while listening to this audiobook. Reading about her is frustration. She's just so frustrating. Like I honestly, how many times can I say frustrating? She's worse in the book, I must say, because she does stuff that you're there like, this could literally damage our characters and damage Hogwarts. It's just frustrating and I want to kill her. And Draco's annoying, which I hate that he's annoying because I love him. And I just want to get to Half-Blood Prince so he can be less annoying and I can be like, my baby. But overall, I just love how the characters are more developed and how the story and the feel of it is more developed, and Stephen Fry is a great narrator. And I cannot wait to continue listening to this and move on to the next ones and just keep my cycle of listening to Harry Potter going, because it's just, it brings joy to my life. And the final book that I'm currently reading that I'm hoping to finish in the next few days is Gone Girl. Finally, I'm reading it. I have been meaning to read this book for so goddamn long because I have wanted to watch the film, because the film was hyped as hell, and it's the reason why this book is hyped as hell. I haven't watched the film because I wanted to read the book first, and so many people were like, oh, just read the book. I'm like, I will when I want to, when I get around to it. Like, don't pressurize me. But I'm finally doing it because I just thought I'd just pick up a book just to take home with me while I was at home to read, and I just decided to pick up Gone Girl because it's the book I've had the longest on my physical TBR, so I finally did it. I finally picked it up. I'm about just over 300 pages through, and I think at the moment it's like a 3.5 out of 5 stars. I really like these sort of adult thrillers. I just think about them, it's just, again, as they always say on the back, it's like the #1 addictive book, and like it is addictive. It is like you are continuously engaged and you are continuously wanting to find out what happens. But this book is slow. It is not like a task to get through, like it is very enjoyable when you're reading it, you just want to speed read through it, but it is slow because even though you are finding out a lot, it feels like it takes a while. But when you do find out even the small plot reveals, you're like, I deserve that. I feel great because I deserve that. What is hindering my enjoyment of this is the characters. It's the same as stuff like You. The characters are just annoying because they're real. I don't know any people like this, but they are just annoying, just like Beck is, and just like all the characters apart from Joe is in You. I started to like Amy more throughout the book. I still don't like enjoy that they are still annoying. I don't want to say too much about this book because I didn't know a single thing going into this, and I'm so proud of myself that I don't, like, even from the hype of the film and the hype of the book, I never knew anything about this going into it. But if you want to know something, it's basically about a married couple called Nick and Amy, and one day Amy goes missing. I know there's a mad plot reveal in this, or like a plot twist, and I'm really hoping I haven't hit it yet because it was like a plot twist. I never usually use the word twist because unless it felt like a plot twist to me, unless I was like, whoa, that's crazy, to me it's just not a plot twist. So plot reveal, I'm going to call it. I have hit one of those, like a big one, and I'm hoping that that is not the plot reveal or plot twist that everybody's talking about, because I will be very disappointed if it is. But I don't think it is, because I've got 150 pages left. I should have kept my mouth closed. Overall, I'm enjoying it, but I think the reason why I'm not enjoying it so much is the characters, which I think is something I'm going to have to deal with if I'm going to want to read more of these books. I feel like that's the trend. It's just the trope, is that the characters in these books are never the best, are always annoying. Because of the hypeness of this book and the film, I think that's another reason why I'm not enjoying it as much. But I'm still enjoying it. I'm still really enjoying it, and I'm really excited to continue reading it. So that is it for my February wrap up. I feel like they're always longer than I want them to be. I'm always like, let's keep it under 20 minutes. It's never gonna happen. You're never gonna have 20 minute raw footage of a wrap up. It's just never gonna happen. Unless you read like one book, it's never gonna happen. I hope you all enjoyed this video. Let me know in the comments below any of the books you read in the month of February, or any of your thoughts on the books that I read in the month of February. I'm kind of happy and glad getting back into the rhythm of filming. I do want to film my book haul after this, but I might take a breather and then come back and film it. Thank you for sticking around while I didn't really upload. I did upload a tag that I pre-filmed. I do have a few video ideas. Obviously I've got my wrap up to put up. I want to film and put up a book haul soon. There is at least a couple of vlogs that I'm excited and thinking of doing, and there is also another video idea I have in mind that I'm very excited to do. I will hopefully get around to filming soon. If you are new around here, do not forget to subscribe, like the video, click the notification bell to be notified whenever I upload. All my social media links are in the description below for you to go check out and for us to talk. And with that all said and done, I will see you all in my next video.